Hey y'all, it's your girl KV back with Love and Marriage Huntsville review. I'm laughing in my head because last time I did a review I said Love and Marriage Hip Hop because that's what it be giving half the time. It just be so ghetto, so all over the place, like just doing too much. So last week I didn't do any reviews. One, because I'm getting ready for season 4 of Hood Health Report. So I had to, prepare for that, record for that. And two, I was starting a new job. So I started a new job. So getting adjusted to that schedule. So everything I reviewed this week is going to be 2 episodes. Last week, this week's episode. So, like I said, we're here for Love and Marriage Huntsville, season 7, episodes 17 and 18, reunion part 1, part 2. So starting off with reunion part 1. He's Carlos King, you know how they do at the beginning of the reunion episodes. They go around to each couple and talk to them in the dressing room. You ready for today? What you got for today? You got receipts? You doing this? Who you want to talk to the most? What about this? What about that? Doing all of that. And we see when he pulls up on Tisha and Marcel's room, they done pulled a Mariah Huck via Married to Medicine, and they got a full picture printout of themselves on the door. And it gets crazier, y'all. He gets in the room and they so freaking corny. They got on boxing gloves and robes and they just I'm like, y'all so daggone corny. I don't know what's wrong with my baby. She probably wants chips, y'all. But I gotta get this done on my lunch break, so it won't last long. He gonna give her what she wants. He got him rubber in her face. Anywho, next he goes to Mel. Well, now we on the stage because that was the only thing that was really memorable about going to the dressing rooms. He gets to the stage. Everybody comes on out. Mel is excited and she says she feels free as a Rogers. She's just happy to take her maiden name back. She ain't got to be, in that regards, tied to Martell any longer. Martell always has to insert himself and everything. He like, she been free. I don't know what she talking about. She been doing things and she been doing this and that. Ain't nothing changed. Everybody's kind of like, okay. So first he talks about Tisha and Marcel's business acumen, or lack thereof, if you ask me. And this is in the part where I feel like this is exactly why Carlos King should not do the reunion. He should not host the reunion for his shows because he has a clear bias and a clear liking for some people. You can definitely tell his favorites. Even though I don't review this show, Bell Collective, it was kind of disgusting to watch because it's like you letting everybody gang up on Latrice and you taking Marie back about this and it was just, and he does the same thing in this regards where he is not holding Tisha accountable for the things that she's done. So like I said, she claims that everybody was hating on the Black Business Expo and everybody had negative things to say and she was just tired of it. She was over it. It was the first time that they were doing the Black Business Expo, like she says it. So she just feels like everybody should cut her some slack. It went great. People were excited. The participants and the people that came to the expo, they enjoyed it. They had a good time. They got info, as she claims. It's just right here on this stage, they was being the haters. Kimmy's like, well, I wasn't hating. I just said XYZ, and I just said that. I wouldn't say I was hating. All right, everybody had their opinions. They just being butthurt about it. Well, Tisha at least. I think Marcel kind of took some of the criticism like, okay, that's fair. But Tisha was being very butthurt about it all. So it was just kind of like, all right, girl, go on over there. Next, Marcel asks Stormy. She asked Stormy and Courtney Do you think that Tisha and Marcel are a power couple like y'all? I can't even remember Stormy's answer because Tisha immediately started an argument. They just started going back and forth, and it's like Tisha, like everybody else said, Tisha had them reads already written down and ready, and just started unloading, just started saying some of anything about Stormy. So they arguing. I can't even. It was just like, what are we doing here? Like I said, love and marriage, hip hop. What are we doing here, y'all? It was just doing the most. And then she says, pay them invoices with their TikTok money. Pay them invoices. Pay them and go pop a pill and shut up somewhere. Is what she tells him. Marcel turns to Tisha and says, okay, you need to calm down. You going too far. When Marcel has to tell you you doing too much and you going too far, you should sit down and self-reflect, Tisha. You should sit down and self-reflect. So she claims that since Stormy wouldn't give Marcel the $100 for the expo, that other people in the Huntsville community had been hitting Tisha up saying she owe me money too. Stormy owe me money too. Them invoices ain't being paid. She need to go pay them invoices with that TikTok money. And I was like, that TikTok money. Then I remembered I definitely did see like a TikTok on Facebook where everybody's going crazy over her. It's like a body cream. Everybody's going crazy over her body cream. So I guess, that went viral on TikTok. And now Tisha wants to be like, well, you need to pay them with that TikTok money. Pay them people with your TikTok money. Stormy says, I done gave y'all grace on the website. I done, spared y'all. I done been much nicer than what I could have been, basically. And that's what I've been saying this whole season is, I'm sure it's probably in their contract that, they can't just sue each other unless some physical violence or something goes on. But I really would have been ready to sue or something, because how you gonna plagiarize? You literally plagiarize that girl's website. So that was annoying because it was just like, girl, what? I think we'll get to it later. Anywho, like I said, Stormy was like, I gave you grace. I gave y'all grace. Tisha still won't take no accountability for anything. She just feels like, oh, well, whatever. Okay, well, this happened, but whatever. Let me see. Do we talk about that? Okay, I don't think they do. I don't think I got it later on, so here it is. Carlos King, this is when he starts caping to me. This is when he starts caping for Tisha and Marcel. Because he's like, well, if it were me that this happened to, I would have made my website designer put out some message saying that it was their fault and I had nothing to do with that, and they need to take ownership for messing up the website. Baby, that's not how anything goes. They send you whatever. If you send them a template, they do the template, they send it back to you and say, is everything correct? If you or your assistant or your husband or your business manager or anybody within your team approves it, checks it off and says, yes, this is correct, publish the website, then that's on you, baby. That ain't on the designer. They just designing the website. Honestly, like I said before, most designers don't even go in and put in literature. You feel me? You got to come up with your own content. They just have the layout and what looks nice and what colors can flow and if it can be, viewable on a cell phone, like it can be viewable on the website and on the iPad, and all of those things. Is it going to be a one pager that you just scroll through, or is it going to be tabs that you go through? They worry about all that. They usually not going in and putting the content under each page or whatever. Tisha still ain't gonna take accountability, and Carlos King ain't gonna try to make her take no accountability. Let them tell it it's the web designer's fault. Trifling. So next we see Maurice being held accountable for making Kimmy suffer through sex. he apologizes, you know. He just kind of says he feels bad and he didn't realize what he was doing and he should have never said the things he said. He should have never went on an interview talking about it, yada, yada, yada. Kimmy defends him, of course, and she says, you know, because Carlos King asked her, a lot of people have been calling it sexual abuse, saying that he has been forcing you to suffer. His words, to suffer through sex. She says that it is not sexual abuse, but I'm like, the way y'all made it seem, it sounded borderline. It sounded borderline. She just says, you know what, I wanted sex too. Well, if you wanted sex too, you would have, whatever. I'm not even gonna. All right, she wanted sex too. She says she doesn't regret, you know, her feelings or anything like that. She just said she never should have said out loud that she was faking orgasms. I'm like, oh, okay. And he goes, Carlos asked everybody on the stage, have you faked it? Have you faked it? Have you faked it? Mel said that she faked it her whole marriage. And he's like, you ain't fake nothing. You ain't fake nothing. I got a hook and a curve. You wasn't faking nothing. You stayed with the best stayed with. The best stayed with. She said, I faked it just like you faked being faithful. That had me laughing. Because I'm like, even if Mel lying, which I feel like she probably lying. That's how you gotta do Martell. And like she said, like, you see this, you see all this arrogance you got, like, no, you can't give Martell even a smidge of a compliment because he's gonna try to run with it. So I would have said the same thing Mel said. Yep, stick it to him, girl. Get him again. Get him for me. So next we have all of the men leave the stage, and we have the women and Marceau, the biggest B, on the stage. They talk about how he always has smoke for the women, how he always stay in women business. Kimmy likes to defend it and just be like, well, I don't think it was just the women business. He's always in everybody's business. Okay, Kimmy, he's always in everybody's business, but he still have more smoke for the women than he do the men. Period. My child sounds like she's having a ball, y'all. It's snowing. If you don't, I'm in Memphis, y'all, and when I tell you, we got like 6 inches of snow. So, wasn't no driving to work, wasn't no going to daycare. We all at the house, y'all. So y'all gonna hear through these reviews, cause it's too cold to go out to the she shed. So yeah. So next, Stormy explains why she called Marceau a B word. She said he's sassy, and real men don't move like that. Real men move with integrity. They ain't trying to be sassy. They ain't trying to go tit for tat, go back and forth with women. They're not doing that. So that's why she called him a B. And I'm like, yeah, basically. He asked Tisha, well, why would you allow her to call your husband a B? She said, I didn't allow her to do anything. She grown. I can't tell her what to do. But I'm thinking back to the episode, like, girl, you didn't even look fazed by her calling your husband a B word. And when he tried to bring it to you, like, oh, she's disrespecting me, your reply was, well, I like Stormy. I like Stormy. Okay, Tisha, you can like Stormy all you want until the end. So Tisha now goes on this diatribe about how Stormy shouldn't do that to black men, and you know how people do like the gaslighting and the conflating of all these issues to make it a bigger issue than it is. Don't get me wrong, I don't like that Stormy called Marceau a B. It was accurate, but I do feel like it was disrespectful. But because she did that doesn't mean that she's downing black men as a whole. It don't mean that she's in her household disrespecting her husband. Because then Tisha was like, I'm afraid for Courtney. I'm afraid how she treat him. Courtney, blink twice if you need help. Like, girl, sit down. Sit down somewhere. She says that Stormy is insecure. No, Maurice said, Marceau said, all these M names. Marceau says that Stormy is insecure in the spotlight and getting this attention. And basically, she don't know how to act because she on the show. Stormy said, baby, I've been that girl. Google me, Forbes, Business Insider. Look at my business. I have a thriving business. I got an estate. I don't gotta bounce around from house to apartment trying to renovate on my own. Baby, I got an estate. I add that last part, but you know she was thinking it. We know she was thinking it. She said, I've been that girl. Like, don't do that. She said they try to diminish me, and they bring up how he actually tried to diminish Melody as well, saying that she only makes t-shirts. I don't want nobody speaking at the expo that only make t-shirts. And Mel was like, oh, speaking of that, I got him a t-shirt. I got you something myself. And it said, like, I only make t-shirts or something like that. And he, you know, he took it in jest. It was funny. He was like, give it here, give it here. Let me see what size it is. Let me see what size. A double XL. Oh, you raggedy. I don't wear no double XL. You raggedy. Tisha said he gonna wear it tonight to bed. It'll be his sleep shirt. That part had me cracking up. So, commercial break, we get back. They talk about how Tisha is back and forth on wanting to be this businesswoman, this power couple, and wanting to be a stay-at-home mom. She says that she came from a family of strong single women, and, you know, they instilled certain things in her, so she was conflicted in how she wanted to live her life, basically. Marceau says, yeah, a group of strong single women, we call them the Rogers. Taking a shot at Melody. Melody said, uncross your legs. Because he did have his legs crossed at the knee. Uncross your legs, Marceau. Uncross your legs. Carlos asked her, she said, she also said he's sassy. You sassy. You sassy. You got your legs crossed like me. Look at you. You sassy. Uncross your legs, Marceau. He ain't had nothing to say. Oh my gosh, y'all. So, next Carlos asks Marceau, are you afraid of Tisha turning into my... Are you afraid of Tisha turning into Melody? He said, a single woman? Yes. No, I don't want my wife to act like a single woman. I don't want her to be like Melody. Melody said, well, move like it. Well, move like that. Touche. He says that my fear is that she gets so successful that she loses her children. Melody is all of us, because she goes, how's she going to lose her children? Like, what is you talking about? He goes on to say, I know she wants to be a PTA mom, and you can't do that if you booked and busy. Mel said, oh, baby, we're not finna do this, because I stay busy. I do Fashion Week, I do businesses, I do speaking engagements, and I still do PTA, and I'm still class mom for my kids' classrooms, and I'm at every playing recital. If she wants to do it all, she can do it all. Being booked and busy don't make you any less of a mama. If you want to do it, you can do it. Next, we see Kiki come out. He tells her, you look good. You look like Tisha. She had a little back and forth about it at first, but she just ends up being like, she's beautiful. She's beautiful. That's fine. Whatever. Like, yeah, y'all look alike. Y'all cousins. We know. Kiki said that she didn't break her pact when it came to talking about Marceau and allegedly cheating. She didn't break her pact because Tisha told Kiki about the Marceau rumors. Kiki just went on and investigated them, but she didn't bring it to her. So she didn't break her pact. She says that she's in denial. This is what Tisha said. She's in denial. She said, in my 15-year relationship, I have never called you to say that Marceau is cheating. But you be cheating on your husband and he be cheating on you, and you don't even pay for him to go on a date. And everybody looking like, what, what, what? And that's how part one of the reunion ends, right? Next, we get to part two. We pick right up with that comment. You know, you cheated on your husband. You done cheated your entire marriage. Y'all been cheating on each other. And I sure have. Your point is... She says she denies paying for the date, though. She says, at least I ain't dumb. Your head too big for you to be that dumb. At least I ain't dumb like you. At least I ain't dumb like you. And so Carlos asked her, elaborate on this, you paying for a date. She said, this was before we got married, for one. He asked me for money. I gave it to him, and I later called him out on the date, and I acted a fool. And it's so funny because Melody and Martell both was like, oh, that's what happened. Girl, you made it sound like it was arranged. You made it sound like she set the date up or something. And Tisha's like, and she still married him. And she still married him. Kiki like, girl, this was over 20 years ago. Like, come harder. And I'm kind of with Kiki. Like, come harder. Because it's not a read. If I'm saying that your husband, it's alleged in the streets that your husband's cheating on you, and your reply is, well, you cheat on your husband and your husband cheat on me. Okay, well, clearly we got an arrangement. So I just feel like that wasn't the read that Tisha felt it was. It was some tea. It was some tea, but it wasn't like a, oh, gotcha. Because at least Kiki know what her situation is, and she ain't out here being oblivious to what's going on and everything like that. Next part had me cracking up because Carlos King asked Melody and Kimmy, what do you think? Do you think Tisha is in denial? Do you think that she's ignoring these rumors and stuff? Both Kimmy and Mel was like, go Kimmy. Nah, you go Mel. Go Mel. Nah, you go Kimmy. You go first. You go first. I was like in tears because they would not. You go. Nah, you go Mel. You go Kimmy. So Kimmy finally says, no, I don't think she's in denial. I just think that yada, yada, yada. In a roundabout way, Kimmy gives this weak explanation on why she does not think that she's in denial. She just think, Tisha gonna stand by her man. If it ain't nothing concrete, she just gonna listen to him and go about her business. Mel shakes her head like, it's a lot, and being somebody that has been in a marriage that ended because of infidelity, I know that Tisha, she's not going to walk away from her marriage without anything concrete. So if she don't have no concrete evidence of some text messages or a woman coming up and saying that, I'm sleeping with your husband, she's not going to leave her man. And I'm like, you know what? That's fair. That's fair. Even though we did have a picture of the back of his head, and we know that it was the back of his head, and he said that he was in Atlanta at that time, so we know that was the back of his head. I guess she needs something more concrete. Okay, that's her life. Like Emily said, I'm gonna stand by my man. I ain't gonna let nobody tear up my marriage. So we come back from commercial break, and we see the package of, it's Kiki on drugs, basically. And production's so messy because they kept zooming in on the fact that Kiki was like, well, yeah, I take methadone, to wean me off of drugs. And then her taking the drug test and being like, methadone negative. They keep on doing that. So they talk about the drink throwing. He asked everybody, do y'all think that she was back on drugs? Tisha and myself, yes, she's on drugs right now. What you mean? Mel said no, but I do think that it was inappropriate for her to throw the drink. Reese said that she was looking for a moment. She knew that this would be her moment. She on reality TV. She want to make a splash. She was looking for her moment. Kimmy said that it wasn't her first thought that she was on drugs, but later on, she kind of was wondering herself, was Kiki back on drugs? She was antsy, she was agitated, she was sweating. Seemed like she could have been tweaking basically. So, how did the test come negative for methadone? This is the question that comes up. Did you use somebody else's pee? Mel said, no, I went in the bathroom with her, along with productions, along with the camera. She didn't use nobody else's pee. And so I had to look this up because I'm like, well, maybe the methadone that's given for addiction purposes, I'm guessing, and I looked it up and I saw a few articles where they said, therapeutic methadone isn't a high enough concentration to come up in most drug tests. It's not enough to come up in most drug tests, so that's why she tested negative, which was my guess, because I was like, well, maybe it don't show up like that. Maybe, especially if she done been on it for a while, they probably lessening her dosages, weaning her off, titrating her down. It ain't gonna show up like that. So they talk about the whole Home Depot situation where Marcel said she stole the lock so she could take it back. She was like, with no receipt? Well, if you take it back with no receipt, you can get a gift card and do this and da. She said, sound like you know better than me how to be stealing stuff. And I'm like, if she gonna steal something to take it back to get the money, I'm sure she would get something more expensive than a lock. Just a little bit more expensive than a lock. Maybe that's what she can fit in her purse, but it just sounded kind of crazy. But Kiki, she sticks hard to the fact that, I wasn't stealing. Yeah, that's my picture, but I wasn't stealing. And like I said, it's suspected that the people in the store, it was somebody ahead of her who walked out before her that stole, but Kiki walked out right after them, so they just kind of accidentally used her picture. So Kiki, I guess it's a legal matter at this point. She can't really speak on it. So that's that. Next, they talk about Martell and Sheree. They said it was fake. It was for business. It was for the storyline. Marcel said somebody was being aggressive with Tiffany. Oh, you were being aggressive with Tiffany and Martell, huh? Wink over there. Being silly. Marcel is so playful. Like, sometimes he kind of gets away with being a butthole. So this little segment had me cracking up laughing. So Carlos asked Lou, when you saw the conversation with Tiffany and Martell and Marcel, do you think Tiffany put some sauce on it? And I'm not understanding. I'm not understanding why it has to be all this. Do you think she put some sauce on it? And he's like, well, I can see where some parts made her feel away, and I can see where, yeah, maybe she added a little bit onto it. Then they get into the Karen conversation. Is Tiffany a Karen? Well, what's a Karen? Give me a definition of the Karen. Marcel gives his definition of Karen. Well, Marcel, that sounds like you too. And then she asks, well, are you calling me a Karen because I'm half white? And it's like, yes and no. You still a Karen. You still like to use your tears and manipulation. Whenever it's convenient. You like to force your opinion on others and try to, hold them to your opinion as if it's fact or as if it's law. Very much Karen behavior. So I agree. So next we back to Martell and Mel. So Martell, is it that you can't move on and date other people because you're still in love with Melody? And he basically, because they was talking about the name change thing, he basically says that he don't understand why she did her name change. I could see if she was getting remarried or something like that, but just to change your name out the blue, he's still very butthurt about the name change, y'all. Marcel said he just don't want to get in trouble with his wife. That's what he said. And he's like, I'm not in a relationship. We not in a relationship. Because Melody was backing Marcel up like, exactly. He don't want to get in trouble at home. Exactly. Well, we not in a relationship, so I ain't got nothing to get in trouble about. Marceau said, does she think that y'all are in a relationship? Hmm. Melody says, it's got to be something because they always together. She always with my kids. Whenever he got my kids, she's there. She came at me for years. She adored my marriage and my lifestyle so much that she did everything that she could to break that up. And you always protect and defend her. And then he brings up, I don't even know how he slid this in there. I guess like, I don't know. He was like, just like your 11 babysitters. Just like your 11 babysitters. He's like, I got the paperwork from court. I got the paperwork from court where it say that you said you got 11 babysitters. Girl, he storms off to the back, switching, swiveling back to the back. Everybody just kind of like, he doing a lot. He comes back with this stack of papers, ain't nothing organized, and he just hands it to Carlos. No, he tries to give it to Mel, like, here, find it. She said, I'm not going through that. He gives it to Carlos, tells him, find the paperwork where he's talking about 11 babysitters. Y'all, it's got to be well over 50 pieces of paper in this notebook. So, like, no, ain't nobody going to take the time to look this over. Melody says, and anyway, that's not even the transcript from court. I'm talking about the transcript with somebody typing up everything that's being said, because she also mentioned that he said that him and Sheree was a business relationship. She said that's the same papers you be sending the bloggers to be all up in our business on our kids' custody case. And she said this is toxic like our marriage. That's why I beat your ass that time. And I was like, ooh, not Mel beating on Martell. He was over there beating him. And, everybody had their opinions on this because, domestic violence is not funny. It's not something to joke about. It's not something to just throw out there all willy-nilly. But at the same time, like, get them again. So next we see the Tiffany and Lewis package. She reiterates she never really thought that it would be her as far as getting the postpartum depression. And through telling her story, she learned that it happened to so many other women. Which is like, the reason why she left the show and everything like that. But it's like, Tiffany is so... I got one more part and I'm going to have to get off because this child is blowing me. Tiffany, she was so oblivious to all of these things. She was so oblivious to postpartum depression and that this could ever happen to her. How hard it was going to be to have a baby in her 30s. But it's like, girl, everybody told you this, including your husband. Lastly, we see Mama Betty and Cousin Junior comes out. This is Stormy's family. Mama Betty don't like Melody because of a tweet / Mel trying to diminish Stormy. So when Mel was dealing with the whole ordeal of somebody recording her, people speculated that it was Stormy, and they felt like if it wasn't Stormy, Mel should have said, oh no, it wasn't Stormy. But she didn't do that. So Betty is mad about that. She's like, you should have publicly defended her. You should have publicly straightened that out. You saw the comments. And Betty was doing the most to where Stormy was like, Mama, please stop. Mama, Betty, please stop. Betty started hollering at Melody about something. Melody's telling Betty, you need to just mind your own business and stay out of my business because don't you already got all these issues with your sister and your family? You need to mind that and not my business. Betty starts mocking Melody. Oh, you did it. I don't even know what it was saying. It felt like Sheree and Marlo. That's how it felt with Mama Betty and Melody arguing. I just did not know what was going on, and I just feel like if we let Wanda go from the show because of Mama's being messy, we should have never let Betty onto this reunion. Betty is a fan. She already said on her, oh, I've been in the Facebook groups for the show since season 1, and I've been this and I've been that. So you've been a fan. You looking for a moment. You messy and you miserable, and you want to spread that for somebody else. I just feel like even if the mamas appear throughout the show a little bit, it don't warrant them being on reunion. Because Mama Betty did not need to come to this reunion. She did not. She did not need to be there. Not even a little bit. Mama Betty did not need to be. It was just, like I said, Love and Marriage Hip Hop, y'all. It's truly giving that. Remember when all the mamas was beefing and they all had to come together? I said, ooh, this is a ratchet table of mamas. We got a pimp. We got drug dealers, madams, like everybody mama at the table, like used to be in them streets, and it gave way to why their children was some little hood boogers that they are. That's what it be giving on here when all the mamas, except for Mama Vanessa, she be chill. But the rest of the mamas, it be just like, you're doing too much. We see that you're looking for a moment. We don't need it. We don't want it. So that's how this part 2 of the reunion ends. I was going to do another review later on tonight, but the way this baby keeps screaming on and off like she's being chased by a monster, I might just have to wait till tomorrow or just fight it through the cold in the she shed for a little bit to get it done, because I can't deal with that. And I'm sure y'all don't want to hear that as well. Hopefully y'all power through it. It don't last the whole time. Hopefully y'all made it here. But anyway, like, thumbs up the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Yeah, let me know how y'all feel about this reunion. Do y'all feel like Mama Betty need to be gone somewhere? Do y'all feel like Tisha is being delusional? Do y'all feel like her bringing up Kiki done cheated and Amin done cheated on Kiki? Was that a gotcha moment? Let me know how you feel. Y'all sound off in the comments. I will see y'all on the next one. Bye.